Fred Penner, or maybe the guy who wrote The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, so I've been interested in making little paths and secret gardens. Oh yeah, secret garden. Oh, shit. Oh no. Oh no. Are you okay? Oh, I understand, yes. Oh, okay. This is the garden I've been working on for 3 years. When I say 3 years, meaning I started 3 years ago, and it looked a little more than, well, what over there is, which you can't really see, which is awesome in a sense, but trust me, you'll be full of burrs and ticks. So I turned it from this to da, 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 na, na, da, 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 na, 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 bum, bum. Oh, a yellow brick road flows, hands and fake flowers, old chives, begonias and mint, red roses, and since I figured out they were not Jewish flowers, but black raspberries looking like wild roses. Here we go. I first started the path 2017 September, had little more than black snake root and either poplar or ash tree or some other tree that I still cannot identify because it's really hard. They should have a Shazam for plants, but I get it. This is the road. I found these yellow bricks in the back here. There was a fire back in the 1930s at the Bank of Montreal, known maybe then like as the Bank is like of Ontario or something, or is that Scotiabank? I don't know. Long story short, this is my garden after 3 years. Sometimes it takes a while for things to happen, and I think that, like, it may sound really kind of a little bit easy, naive, metaphorical, pretentious, whatever, to compare it to mental illness or to compare it to trials and tribulations that we as humans face. But I do believe that a garden can tell us a lot about maybe like ourselves, or more specifically actually, which will be funny what I'm about to say, is actually humanity, which is a much vaguer thing, but it is specific when we look at a garden. Well, this is the yellow brick road, and of course it was inspired by that guy, A.A. Milne. No, it wasn't him. I forget his name already. God damn it. Here are my red begonias. That's a fake. My dad gave me those. I'm not sure what this plant is called in all honesty, but I know I have the stick for it, so I gotta find out. All I know is I'm watering it, and I'm loving it. This is a pink begonia, and it looks really nice against the yellow celandine plant, which is a yellow floor-leaf flower, and it likes to grow out of like clay or silt, so like not soil, although these ones are doing pretty well with the soil. That's Scamp. She's an outside cat now, and she's much happier. I've always wanted to put her outside, but I've worried because of the bridge next to us and the Dufferin Falls, which are just yonder. Yes, we are at the heart of the Lower Lièvre, so we're right at the river, which is probably why we're getting the celandines. There's a lot of mica around here, and a lot of interesting flowers. This is a little bridge I made. All right, we're at 4:29. I told myself this wouldn't be too long. That's a little guy over there my dad, Father Rose, gave me. And that's a little magnet I think Uncle John gave me. Not the postman. That my uncle, as most of us have an Uncle John. And this is a little cliff of wild black raspberries and wild black raspberry wild black flowering raspberries or something like that. I don't know what this is. It's either, it could be poplar or ash or perhaps something different, but it's growing like a weed. I don't mind. It does get in the way of the celandine of these wildflowers, which I think are so beautiful. I had to get rid of a lot of snake root, and I've been finding a lot of yellow brick. Remember, Buckingham was a pretty prominent town back over 100 years ago, because we're right at the heart of a booming river that leads right into the Gatineau River, which turns into the Ottawa River, which turns into the St. Lawrence River. It's the same river, but the Lièvre is not. The Lièvre is, we're pretty much at the mouth of it. Now this is mica, a beautiful piece of mica in my opinion as an amateur, and it's hard to really get a sense of it. But in the sun is when it shines. It really does. Some rocks like to shine when they're underwater. I want to know why. Something about photosynthesis and pH. This is deadwood. Deadwood with some fun stuff. The little barriers to my little rock palace. I like to call Emerald City. Although there's nothing much emerald about it, except for that green-looking emerald-like thing. And this black raspberry bush has really bloomed this year. Like, this is nothing like it. Like, 3 years ago, it was not like this. And I just made some small, like, little changes to my life. Well, to my life. I just did some things, and I see such beauty. And I know now that, like, beauty can happen for all of us. Whether we're flowering black raspberries or we're dealing with depression or anxiety. And I know it's really hard, and I'm one to talk because I am currently in a lot of therapy. But I'd like to say that I'm not afraid to say that. First of all, I think that's silly. I'm aware that socially it can make me a little bit like, okay, she doesn't have much of a filter, and that is true. I don't. And this is my garden. And I think that it's beautiful, especially that when light touches it at different times of the day, it's just gorgeous. And of course, when it rains, I'm happy because it's getting lots of water, and I don't have to water it that night. So there's all this positivity in this place. Right here is Brady Park. I think it was named after one of our first, like, reverends, pastors, religious folk, aka. It actually belongs not to my parents, although they did try to purchase the property up until where it becomes a park. But I'm sure they'll be happy to know that I've been really trying to take care of it. I've been taking out the black snake root, been cleaning it up, watering it, giving it a lot of love, and trying to propagate some wildflowers, which is attracting bees and butterflies. So I'm really proud of myself, man. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, this is Canadian. Frickin' can't be golden seal. Something seal wort. Something wort. Anyway, it blooms. And I took a bunch out because I thought it was a weed until I looked into it. And I think it has like yellowing flowers or some sort of flowering in August. So that's why I thought it was a weed, because it looked nothing like what it looks like even now, a week ago. What is that here? Look at that. Oh, you can hardly see it. Let me see here. Oh, there we go. Let's try to, nope, not focusing. This is a bunch of claw-like branches. I just put one area. But it's fun because the vines like to grow. But if you put a lot of dead leaves, I don't know, I think they obstruct the growing. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I don't know. I did this kind of Blair Witch project to you. I like it. It's kind of cool and weird. I'd like to put a little table on this tree that had to be cut down because it was infected. I might cut it down a little more, put a little table, some chairs, make a little gnome thing out of it. Oh dear, I keep doing that. Yeah, so this is like the trail of the rose garden, or sorry, the raspberry flowering garden. And like I want to right, as you can see, Now, they're not flowering as much. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I did a lot of different work and I found a lot of ants, and maybe the ants have scattered and have affected the plants. I don't know. Or maybe it's because, see? Or maybe it's just because it's, mid-July and they don't flower as much at this point. I'm not sure. I mean, like, you go 6 hours south or north and your plants are going to be radically different from what I've seen, and then from what I've read too. And I've got this Eastern book, but it's not Northern Eastern, it's just Eastern. So yeah, but anyway, I'm obviously quite stimulated by my garden, which is great. I tried to calm myself down though, because I did take my back out. I got really excited and I was pulling out some black snake root, and they're pretty. They have that name for a reason. And I wanted to think of something funny, but I couldn't. I just really want to capture this garden because it could be gone in a moment if the city decides to cut more branches because of the power lines, which makes perfect sense. It's just something I have to deal with. That something beautiful, something that you work so hard on could be gone in a second. How do we deal with that? How do normal people deal with that? Must be quite hard, especially when it's something way more sacred than just like a garden or whatever. But still, I'm really proud of my garden, and I'm proud of myself. And I think my garden's proud of me, right? They're like, yo, thanks, lady. Thanks, lady.